rates in March of 2025 have gone up. They are in the sixes. And we were told in 21 and 22, when the rates were twos, that when the rates went up, everything would come to a screeching halt. Well, let's talk about why that didn't happen. So I'm Casey Jenkins with Oak Realty, and let's talk about rates and demand and how they influence each other. So if you take it back to 21 and 22, when the rates were 2s, 3s, and 4%, you had a huge demand of buyers coming out. It was a conglomerate of a lot of different things coming together, but the biggest one was because rates were so low, sellers could move up from their small house into a ginormous house and still afford the same payment, or even lower their payment in some cases. And so all these people saw this opportunity to be able to move up really easy and really fast and have this really, really low rate, that they took advantage of it. The other thing is you had a lot of millennials that were in the mid to end of the millennial generation that were looking at houses and going, oh, I'm in my 30s, I really want a house, I want to settle down. And so they were coming into the market. You had a lot of boomers who have decided not to, move on or downsize. They've decided to age in place. So they were holding on to houses in the market. And so you had this whole influx in 21 and 22 that sort of like almost gridlocked the market with these fantastic rates. And in doing that sent prices skyrocketing. Well, everybody back then was like, hey, when rates hit 6, everything will cool off. Well, here we are in 2025 with rates in the 6s, and I'm still seeing multiple offers. It cooled off a little bit for the past 2 years. We didn't see as many multiple offers. It wasn't insane like the number of years in 21 and 22, but it has not stopped. And what has caused that in the multiple offer situation and in the selling side is now what's happening is you have less houses on the market, but we have less demand, but the ratio of houses to demand is still much the same. And so even though we're selling less houses, because all these people moved up in 21 and 22, they're not moving. They don't need to move. They bought the bigger house. They now fit in that bigger house, and they're perfectly happy staying in that bigger house because it will last them for a while. And they have a 2.5% rate, so they really don't see why they should move, which I get it. I understand that. So you have this huge influx of the end of the millennials plus the Gen Z generation coming in their 20s and going, we saw what the millennials did. We want to just buy a house in the beginning. So now you have all these guys trying to buy the houses that we have very little houses of. And all of these guys had no clue that rates were 2s, 3s, and 4s. And so they're not waiting for rates to come down. They're taking advantage of the fact that they can purchase a house now.